everyone, welcome to Definition Ale. I'm Stephen Rich and this is Real Beer. And this is Real Beer. Today we're going to enjoy the Mill Street Coffee Porter. Mill Street Brewery is in the Distillery District down in Toronto. If you haven't been, definitely go check it out. They got a beautiful brew pub with a big whack of fantastic beers on draft. A lot of beers that you can't get in bottles or at other bars or pubs, so I highly recommend it. The coffee porter, though, is regularly available in bottles. You can find it at the LCBO. During the season, it usually comes with a gift pack, or recently it's been showing up with a unique glass for it, which is fantastic. I always love getting glassware with my beer. But the coffee porter is 5.5%. It's a classic coffee porter. It's been brewed with coffee. They're using Balzac coffee beans. Balzac is a cafe and bean roaster, also in the Distillery District. They do really delicious stuff too. So while you're checking out Mill Street, or if you're there in the morning before Mill Street's open and you need a coffee, highly recommended. Definitely check out Balzac's. They do good stuff. And that good stuff goes into this porter. So I've taken this out of the fridge and let it warm a little bit. My fridge sits at about 4 or 5 degrees. It's a little bit too cold for a beer like this. I'm expecting big coffee, roasty, chocolatey flavors out of this. And although it's not very high in alcohol, I still want the warm, rounded, kind of creamy texture and flavors out of this. Too cold and it's just going to get a little too muted. I do expect some good complexity out of this. So I've let it warm for about 20 minutes. It's probably closer to 8 or 10 degrees now. Cool. That's where I want to pour it. So let's see how it is. Wow, now isn't that pretty? Big, beautiful, like roasty kind of brown mocha head. It's nice and tight. It's got good structure. I can see I'm shaking it and the head is just like creamy and oatmeal-y all over. Beer is pretty much black. I'm getting a little bit of brown shading through it. A little bit darker than a typical porter, which will allow some brown and maybe some red through. So will a lot of stouts, that being said. But this is pretty much black. I'm getting a lot of aroma from it already, but I'm really not done looking at it. It's very pretty. I love the head. It's really staying on there well. It does perfectly in this glass, which is really beautifully designed to accentuate the aromas and characters of a beer like this. This is a miniature version of the Duvel glass, which is a very famous beer, a very famous glass, one of my favorite in the world, so you couldn't have picked a better shape. But let's see how this is. Yeah, the aroma right away is smooth roast, lots of coffee. Not getting that espresso, I am getting coffee, that kind of cold, brewed, smooth coffee character. Little nutty, little chocolate. I'm still getting some reasonable caramel, some typical like biscuit and baked bread kind of character out of here, but it's very roasty. First of all, the temperature is very important here. This is cool, not cold, and it's excellent. I can tell instantly if this was cold, all I'd be getting was a cold sensation of roast. I am getting roast, but I'm also getting chocolate and biscuit right around here and nuts, like toasted almonds and nuts kind of curling up through the top of my palate. Mocha and chocolate also like flowing throughout there. Really beautiful. Lots of flavor going on in this beer. Also because it's a little bit warmer than straight out of your fridge. It's creamy and it's lush on the palate. Also, pouring it into a glass like this, allowing a big head to form, is going to create a smoother beer with less overall carbonation stuck in the beer. Carbonation evolves up into the head, trapping the aromas, and leaves you with a smoother, more elegant beer. It really is elegant. It's 5.5%, but there's a lot of flavor going on in here. you know, I could easily pass this for a higher alcohol beer. Not that the alcohol is showing through, but there's a lot of depth and complexity, more so than I was expecting from 5.5. Back to roast, back to chocolate, and the coffee is pretty blatant. Really well done. Cheers, guys. Enjoy.